In this video, we're going to cover both a dot and a line in the past when it comes to preguntarse, and we'll start with a dot. But I don't think that you'll use the dot very much, because if you consider it, to wonder, that action implies a line. To be wondering, or I was wondering, we tend to use it in that way. There are specific examples where you could use a dot, like in this moment, or in that particular moment in time, I wondered. But generally, it implies more of a line. But anyway, let's start with the dot. So we have preguntarse. How would you then express I wondered or I asked myself? For example, let's say I asked myself why. How would you say that? Me pregunté por qué. So here we have the dot. Me pregunté por qué. To express in that moment, it would be en ese momento. In that, ese momento. En ese momento, in that moment. So we'll say, in that moment, I asked myself why. So here we have a dot. How would you say that? En ese momento, me pregunté por qué. How would you express you wondered? Te preguntaste. He, she, or it wondered. Se preguntó. We wondered. Nos preguntamos. They wondered. Se preguntaron. How would you say, in that moment, they wondered if he was going to arrive? En ese momento se preguntaron si iba a llegar. Here we have a specific example here where in that moment they wondered. En ese momento se preguntaron. Dot. Si iba a llegar, here we have a handle if he was going to, si iba. And then the verb, the full verb to arrive, llegar. Now let's move into the line, which is what I think you'll use mostly with this particular verb in the past, preguntarse. So first of all, how would you say I was wondering? Me preguntaba. Here we have the line with this aba ending. Me preguntaba. I was wondering if you'd like something to drink. How would you say that? Me preguntaba si te gustaría algo de tomar. Here we have I was wondering. Me preguntaba if you would like. This is a handle. If to you, it would be pleasing. Si te gustaría. Here we have the ria sound for would. Si te gustaría something to drink, algo de tomar. Perhaps I should have mentioned that because it's not something we've covered before. Something to drink. To drink, they use a lot the verb tomar, to take. So something to drink would be algo de tomar. There's something to be careful about here with preguntarse in the past, because in English we could say, I wonder why he did it. But in Spanish, that would have to be, I was wondering why he did it, because we're not attaching any specific point in time to that. So how would you say that? Like in English, I wonder why he did it, but remembering that in Spanish they would treat it in this way, I was wondering why he did it. How would you say that? Me preguntaba por qué lo hizo. So lo hizo, he did it. It's a dot in the past, but I was wondering or I wonder is treated as a line. Me preguntaba. What about this one? But you never wondered why? Pero nunca te preguntabas por qué? Here we have you never asked yourself. Nunca te preguntabas por qué. Again, in English, it looks like a dot, but Spanish treats it as a line. This is a verb that naturally falls into the line in the past. we were wondering when it's going to arrive. Nos preguntábamos cuándo va a llegar. Here we have, we were asking ourselves. Nos preguntábamos. They were asking themselves the same thing as you. Se preguntaban la misma cosa como tú. So here we have, they were asking themselves. Se preguntaban, a line. The same thing as you. La misma cosa as you is como tú. So once again, remember that preguntarse tends to fall into a line in the past, so rather than a dot. So with this dot past, you need to be very, use it in specific circumstances, like in that moment when you want to express that at that particular point in time, I wondered, or he wondered, or whatever it is. But just in a general sense, you'll find yourself that this is a verb that naturally wants to fall into more of a line in the past. And we have other verbs such as tener and saber and querer. These are all verbs that tend to fall into lines in the past rather than dots.